Book on the crossover, gets inside and hammers it down. Suns, Booker for the win. Yes! Booker, this is for the win.
Welcome, everybody. Welcome to the Valley Podcast. It is so good to be with you tonight. You know, I'm not going to be upset about this close win. I know it was close. I know a lot of you guys were scared. I know Coach was worried. I know Salty was a little salty. But I'm one of those guys who really likes close, ugly wins. They remind me of football wins, which football wins mean more because there's a lot less games per season. And it just reminds me of, you know, this was a trap game. This was a game that we definitely would have lost earlier in the season. But, hey, we're just so good that we can lackadaisically go about our business and get this W. I know these two don't feel that way. Coach, explain why I'm wrong.
Oh, no, I honestly don't mind. Like, it just is what it is. This was the most lackadaisical win I think we've seen all season. It was the first time in 7 games they haven't played some sort of playoff type team, you know? So it's just, I don't know. We do bad against under 500 teams, and under 500 teams look like the 2016 Warriors. I think somebody just said that in the chat, and I thought that was funny as hell because it's true. But we won. You know, I just survive in advance, win and move on, all that. The thing that I'm pissed about is DeAndre Ayton. And how awful he's been. Awful. Right, Salt? No, not right, Salt.
I guess not.
Okay, yeah. I'm bringing my game like DA, half-assed.
There it is.
No, just imagine if we were podcasting like DA, nonchalantly just ass, not showing up, not giving a fuck. I mean, no one will watch. We wouldn't be the fastest growing Suns podcast. Fuck no. We put up a 5-point outing this is the second game in a row, and he couldn't even muster the ability to get 10 rebounds. That was too much for DA, man. This guy, like I said, it's the Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. You don't know what you're going to get with this dude. And that's the most fucking annoying thing. It's annoying. You are talented. We've said this. We preach your good games, and we fluff you up when you need to. But my God, am I not going to sit back here and just take this mediocrity from this dude, man?
Over and over, too. That's the most consistent thing of him.
So annoying, bro. Like, we've seen what this guy can do, and that's why it compounds the situation. It's not like this guy's never reached his potential and we're still waiting, right? He's gone stretches of weeks where he puts up consistent numbers, right? 20 and 15 player of the game, really active out there. It's just he's not engaged whatsoever. It looks like he wants to be anywhere but out on that court, and that's the annoying part, because at a certain point in time, you got to sign this guy. You got to determine if you want him, how much you want to pay him, and how the fuck do you determine that? Are you going to get the guy that is engaged and has a high ceiling, can go for 20, 25 and 15, or are you going to get a guy that goes stretches and weeks and maybe even a month where he just does not look like he wants to be on the court? He puts up 5 points and 5 rebounds. Frank Kaminsky looks like fucking
a god.
Oscar Robertson out there compared to this dude on offense. He's actually rolling to the basket and getting the point guard to dime him up. It's very simple to get points in this system, and it's just not there, man. And I'm not going to sit back like these Ayton stands and then try to look for the positives, bro. Oh, he was engaged on defense.
He's good on defense.
Like get
No,
the
he
fuck
wasn't.
out of here.
No, he was
Please
awful
just
on
get
defense.
the all the way the fuck out of the building, dude. I understand how important he is with the team, and Chris Paul said he's changed his game for the man. Just fucking man up, dude. That's it. That's all I got to say. I'm tired of it.
I got the last 8 games of 8 and pulled up for stats if you want to hear it real quick, because I was curious when I was going on this rant. So the very first game of that 7-game trip was against Milwaukee. Remember the timeout call and all that stuff? Ayton had 20 and 13. 8 for 11 that game. Good.
It was good.
Good. Absolutely. Very next game against the 76ers. 10 points and 5 rebounds. Granted, he had to guard Embiid most of the game, and I thought he did well that game. I think we would all agree he did well guarding Embiid, right? He was making Embiid do quite a few things.
5 rebounds.
Offensively, we'll throw that one out, okay? That's fine.
How do you feel about that 5 rebound stat?
Oh, awful. Absolutely. You shouldn't. No, that's unexcusable, but we won the game, and he played good defense on Embiid, so I think most Suns fans would take that. Okay, so that's fine. We'll throw that one out, but let's go to the next game, all right? The Celtics game, 10 points, 9 rebounds, and a loss. The Nets game, 20 and 13.
That's okay. A good game.
Okay, better, but a loss, better. Let's go to the Knicks game. 9 points, but 13 boards. Oh, he was terrible offense. Oh, but he grabbed 13 boards.
See, in a game like that, the thing is, playing basketball and not being the most talented guy in the world, I can control like getting rebounds.
Stop talking to Gabe about like that.
Exactly. This dude is 7 feet tall, athletic as fuck. We've seen him. He grabbed the alley-oop that one night. His arm was like all the way up at the top of the backboard. This dude can get rebounds. It's all about effort, man. So don't be getting these 5 rebound nights. That's embarrassing, dude. Keep going.
I'm not done yet. Yeah, I'm not done yet. Clippers game a few games ago, right? Big win. Possibly biggest win of the season. 5 points and 11 boards. But he got the board, so it's fine. The points are fine, right? No.
That
Jazz game.
Hey, wait. The 5 points is coming up a lot. I'm just going to say that.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And just wait. The next game, 11 and 9 against the Jazz. And then tonight, another 5 and 7 game. Dude, over the last 8 games, you've scored 20 twice. You've grabbed double-digit rebounds 4 or 5 of those games. Again, what Salty is saying, he should accidentally grab 10 rebounds, roll over in the morning, and score, 12 to 15? He should score 12 to 15 points accidentally.
Yeah. Easy. So, it is what it is. We won tonight. Am I mad that we didn't show up against OKC? No, I'm not really. So it's a long season. These things happen. They pulled out the victory. Would I have been absolutely pissed if they lost? Yes, because I didn't call this the trap game. The trap game was, I think, Cleveland, because it's a second night of a back-to-back. That's the game I called the trap game, not this game, because they're coming off a back-to-back where they literally got beat by like 50 points, or the worst roasting they've had in their whole existence in the NBA. So these dudes, they don't have the most talent on their team. And honestly, we always play down to our competition. It's just what we do. We have a weird stat. This was our first victory in Oklahoma City since 2010.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like it's been that long, dude.
Well, they've been perennial playoff team, for years.
Yeah, but it doesn't feel like they've been winning over us that much for that long, but I guess they have.
That's because we've sucked for.
We've sucked for 10 years, and Oklahoma City has pretty much been perennial playoff team all that time. So it kind of makes sense, because it's like Oklahoma City, they're engaged as a fan base, they fill the stadium up, but it's weird. I heard that, I was like, wow, that's insane to me.
Yeah, I thought that too. So Gabe, what did you think of the game tonight, or 8 and whatever comes first?
Okay,
for you, man?
So the whole game, even when we're losing in the first quarter, I just felt like, okay, so this is kind of typical, right? We don't take teams like this seriously, so that's all this is. We'll be fine. and we were fine by the second quarter. We righted the ship and we're in control of that game from the second quarter on. So I was just disappointed that DA didn't want to be a part of the party. It's like, come on, man! Like, this is like, you guys play video games. Let's think about like Madden or college football. You'd look ahead to the schedule and be like, I'm going to throw for like 8 touchdowns versus this team because I'm going for the Heisman. Like, this is going to be my Heisman game. Or this is going to be the game that I, with Kyler Murray, run for 200 yards. Like, this should be one of those games where Ayton is just licking his chops thinking, I'm going to have a stat stuffer tonight. Nobody can stop me. But, like, he didn't have any interest. Like, what could be more fun for you, DA? Like, why aren't you excited? Why aren't you excited to go get stats and look like a god and get your ego stroked? I mean, I don't know where his head is, man. I don't know where his head is.
Yeah. Sorry. Yes, Salty. Me and Salty are going back and forth on the Rain Man and Sean Kemp. We both said it like at the exact same time. My guy.
Can we talk about how much the NBA misses the Sonics, dude? Come on, man. That team was just fun.
Look at what Seattle did with the Seahawks recently in that fan base. Like, and they traded them for OKC. Are you kidding me? You traded the Seattle market for the OKC market? Wow.
It's still OKC's been there for how many years, and it still does not feel right. That is a basketball team in the NBA. It's weird. I don't know. I don't know if it'll ever feel right for me. Yeah,
Memphis and New Orleans are the same by far. And yes, Charles, we know the Kraken are coming in Seattle. Yes, we know, Charles.
Who's the Kraken?
That's their new NHL franchise. It's actually the Kraken. Dope name. They actually have one of the better logos I've ever seen too.
Yo, Metal Mike says, "Wait, can we hear that banger again?"
The banger.
I swear to God.
So you gotta stick around and we'll play that intermittently.
I watched the last episode, and I woke up the next morning. Swear to God, I woke up the next morning. The first thing I thought was the Phoenix Suns are number 1. I couldn't believe it's a hit. It's a hit, man.
Maybe we should re-record it.
Instead of the Phoenix Suns are number 1, we could be like, it's 2001.
The Phoenix Suns in 2021.
Right?
Yeah.
Just like kind of rewrite it with new verses about how DA's inconsistent. But no, man, I don't know. I was disappointed with DA. I was happy to see Booker so engaged, and he didn't have the greatest shooting night, but still I'll take 50%. He just looks like he is like ready for the playoffs. Like he has worked himself into a lather.
Did you see how pissed he was at half?
He was mad that he missed. He was mad, I think, specifically that he missed that step back 3 to end it. I think he really thought it was.
I think it's a combination of them just that and not showing up. Can we talk about your?
It could have been that.
Torrey Craig in the starting lineup.
Your boy Torrey Craig. Everyone said you were gonna nut about that, Gabe.
I'll just be quiet, because I'm just here drinking Suns juice. I'm crazy for saying the things I say about Torrey Craig. I'll let you guys tell me what you think about Torrey Craig, since everyone knows what I think.
Go for it, Salt.
This version of Torrey Craig, I would say, would have a chance in the starting lineup, but couldn't he consistently do it? I don't know. That's remain to be seen. I think he's picking up the points that Ayton isn't scoring. Now, if Ayton was scoring, would he score points? That's the biggest question, because I love, like I said, I love the Frank Kaminsky Sarge lineup. I think it brings a dimension you need.
A bigger dimension,
right? They can get rebounds and stuff. So Torrey Craig, I think he could be a starter, but we have Crowder, who is tailor-made for that position, especially in the playoffs, right?
Well, let me just say this, Salty. So you know how I feel about Torrey Craig. I'm his biggest cheerleader and everything. I'm jumping the gun on him.
Yeah.
I said that I might be liking Torrey Craig more than I like Crowder. Okay, so that drew me some ire. But I'll still say this. Standing in the same spot, I still think that Crowder should start over Torrey Craig.
Why?
Because Crowder, you don't get good Crowder when he comes off the bench. His psyche is not made for it. He's meant to be a starter. He plays a lot better basketball when he's a starter. Craig doesn't care when you put him in.
Yep.
He's going 100. Start me, I'm going 100. Bench me, I'm going 100. So I just say, and Crowder, Crowder is a better, more clutch 3-point shooter. But Craig, I mean, he's just full of surprises, man. He's just surprising me every game with how much better he's getting on offense.
And I don't know if it necessarily like matters too much on this team, the way our coach does lineups and stuff like that. Like people that are starting or coming off the bench, you could still put up a lot of time off the bench. Even if Craig's coming off the bench, he could bring him in a little bit earlier, keep him in longer, depending on lineups and stuff like that. And he can still get his points. The things that I like about Craig, I think he's a little bit more energetic, brings a lot more energy. Crowder is an energy guy, but not on the level of Torrey Craig. The dude is everywhere. He's slapping balls around, paws. Like he's everywhere, like trying to get offensive rebounds. He gets to the rack a lot more.
He does do that a lot more. His hops are insane too.
So he's more of a well-rounded player, I would say. Crowder's more of that, I'm going to stay on the 3-point line and shoot when I'm open type player. And he can catch fire. And like we saw that game where how many threes did he make? Like 9, 10.
Yeah. Just
insane amount. And that's the kind of thing in the playoffs, because let's be honest, you need to have consistent 3-point shooting in the playoffs. And Craig does that too. That's why you could say at this point, yeah, he would look awesome in the starting lineup, but there's a lot of question marks still because you said Crowder doesn't perform off the bench and that would end up hurting you. So from this standpoint, yeah, you go back to Crowder in the starting lineup, but it's going to take a little bit for him to get folded back in, right? He's going to have to get his cardio up. So I wouldn't be surprised if coach puts him on the in like the second unit to get his cardio back up. Do you guys think he's just going to instantly slot him back into the starting lineup, Crowder, when he comes back? You think so?
I think so.
Every player that's come back from injury has gone right back into their role, and they've waited purposely to make sure that they're 110%. So I don't see any. I mean, we need that lineup to begin with, so I don't see any reason with 9 games left, to have him come off the bench like at all. Maybe you sub him out first, right? Maybe at the 8-7 minute mark, you sub him out first.
Sorry, I thought I was muted. If you heard all that typing, I think we should hit the like button, you guys. We're only at 15.
Good point.
You guys are slacking. Get us in that algorithm, fastest growing Suns podcast on YouTube, man. And we need to shout out the chat as well,
Hey, I'll do that. I just wanted to say Ben Simmons just got a game-winning tip in against the Spurs. So
a lot of NBA action. I'd love to go over that happened yesterday and today, but I think the chat is way more important than the NBA standings right now. So Tanner Liffick, thanks for coming in, bro. Mega Khalid, Iverson Vlogs, always a burner account, one of our many supporters. Charles, thank you. Roy, I think he was the first one in here again. Roy, thank you, man. Metal Mike, who we missing? Kenny, Perry. Anybody on the Facebook side, Gabe?
Yeah, we got JW Lynch.
I gotta open that up.
We got Danny Arono. What's up, man?
Let me pull
him a few times.
Let me pull up the old Facebook. I never opened that, dude.
Right?
Are we on MySpace yet?
We got Timothy, our Chris Paul expert.
Thank you, Timothy.
Bro, we need to go into remind me after this that we need to go in the settings and get him unbanned or whatever happened to him.
For sure. Or we could just keep him banned. No, just kidding, Timothy.
Or we could just keep him banned.
We'll get you set up. Man. I gotta thank you guys though. Like I've had a terrible headache all day. I was like kind of like worried about the podcast, like, oh, am I gonna have any energy? I don't feel my headache at all. You guys got so much good energy, man. I'm actually just feeling super good right now because of you guys. Appreciate you guys in the chat. And I wanted to say about the Discord. I've figured out how to explain the Discord. Our Discord is shocking me with how funny it is and how fun it is, right? So our Discord is basically just this chat. It never stops. So like when this chat stops, it just continues in the Discord. So if you're not in the Discord, I suggest you hop in it.
I'll put a link in there too.
Because this shit is hilarious. To be at work and to have this chat going on all day to be a part of if you want to is pretty funny. It's mostly just people roasting Charles about shutting up about Chris Paul.
I was gonna say I've seen Iverson go at Charles quite a bit, and Charles, man, you're hanging in there, bro. Some people be getting on you for your hockey stuff too, but good on you, my man. Everybody be nice to Charles once in a while. Come on.
Hey, shout out to Angels Army if you want to highlight that comment. New one in the chat.
Absolutely, man. What's going on? Appreciate you.
Do you have it highlighted?
I do. Says, love your channel. I would love to come on someday. I work at the Phoenix Suns arena as a cashier at the concession stands. Hell yeah.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Here's some inside info about that.
Seriously.
Get the dirty details about Sarver pinching pennies on food and shit.
Yeah, let's go. We'll black you out. We'll modulate your voice so we don't know who you are, man.
We'll hide your identity.
He won't even let us eat Carl's Jr. for free.
He buys the cheap soda. The shit.
Oh man. So let's see.
Bridges.
I have a question about Ayton. This is for everybody in the chat too. Obviously, I think Ayton's biggest issue outside of his lack of energy, his energy that waxes and wanes, his motor that comes and goes. I feel like his other biggest issue is he's like a tight end that has terrible hands. You could rely on him to block, but he ain't catching passes, man. Like if he does, it needs to be like 5-yard little outs, nothing more. His hands are just terrible. Do you guys think that Ayton can get better with his poor hands, or do you think it's just small hands and it can never change?
I'll go first. I'm going to answer your question, okay? It's a big fat no. Bad hands in any sport, is that improvable? I'm going to ask you that question. Have you had a wide receiver that had bad hands?
Alden Darby, not Alden Darby, but Frank Darby, bro. Arizona State wide receiver.
Any player that has bad hands will not improve that. Like, how do you improve that? Do you get one of those grip strength things and start crunching it and like playing music and shit? Like, it comes down to, it's an all-in-one thing. It's coordination, it's your hands, it's the ability to catch passes. Like that's one. This is my humble opinion. I don't think he's going to get better with his hands, and his hands are terrible. And that's one of the worst things to have as a player, like a big, especially on the pick and roll, right? Because you're going to get hot passes, you're going to get skip passes. Why was Amari Stoudemire good on the pick and roll? Is because he literally had Velcro hands. Steve Nash dimes him, boom, it's sticking his hands. He's going up for a hoop. He's not getting the ball ripped. He's decisive with it, whatever he does, and he would either get a dunk and one or whatever. So that's a major issue for DeAndre Ayton. That's something that will not improve, in my opinion. What do you think, Evan?
Amari Stoudemire had some of the greatest hands and most underrated footwork of all time. Sean Kemp, amazing hands and could catch anything. I've seen some small improvement when it comes to Ayton in his hands, but overall, I'm not seeing the improvement there. I think it just comes to having that mentality, man. That's the only thing that I can go with hands. It's just being engaged. That's all, dude. Yeah, have him wear gloves. Exactly, Salty.
Burner says DA has to grab the ball like he grabs the bong. Is he a Rasta or something? Like, what are we talking about? Is that something?
You have to be careful the way you word that. DA's got to practice grabbing balls.
You already said a couple of things this episode. All right. Timothy says Kwame Brown-esque with hands. That's rough, man.
Ugh.
I don't want to talk about Ayton like this, but he's on a downward trend. He is. He's just
Again.
Why do we have to be
slumping.
scared to criticize the players, bro? I feel like we could criticize anybody. Anybody's open to smoke. Like that's just how it should be. I don't feel like we should feel bad for critiquing people when they have downtimes. I mean, we did it with Booker. Nobody on the team is kind of immune to getting criticized when they do bad.
Preach.
I don't know why that's a bad thing.
Preach.
But hey, the stands on Twitter, my God, if you say something, Jesus Christ.
I did. I told Ayton's World to fight me, even though he blocked me.
Oh boy. I mean, I don't know why I feel bad about it, man. I just feel bad because Ayton's shown me so much this year, and like maybe it's just I'm in denial and I just don't want to
Well, I think
accept that he's truly going backwards again. I thought he had turned the corner and we were done with that. And I guess I'm just I don't know.
Yeah, you could go check. You could check the tapes where we all said it, right?
Yeah.
Ayton's turned the corner. Ayton's blah blah blah. It's like, nah, dude. This is who he is. This is who he always will be. It's kind of like, I don't know. Certain players are like that. They're up and down. And
I mean,
it's.
Dude, Chris Paul tried to throw him 2 lobs earlier in the game, and Ayton just wasn't even ready for it. And Chris Paul just threw his hands down like, motherfucker, come on, dude. Like, be ready for that shit. He just wasn't there. He's not engaged. And the big thing of all this, who are you going to sign? Mikal Bridges to a max, or are you going to sign DeAndre Ayton to a max?
Neither, Max. Neither.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think it's weed?
What?
Do you think with Ayton? And I mean, it's an honest question, okay? And I'll be completely honest, okay? So there's this trope with weed where a lot of people that smoke say, "Oh man, it makes me so much better at basketball. Like it makes me better at this, it makes me better at that." And the truth is, it doesn't make you better at basketball. Like look at
your reaction time is so horrible.
That's the only thing. Like that's J.R. Smith, I mean, he was clearly
Steven Jackson and Matt Barnes were blunting up before. I mean, they've admitted they haven't done it before the games, which I question. They do it after the games like crazy.
Yeah,
and they did it. Yeah, they did it through the whole Warriors Maverick series, the We Believe team. You know what I mean? Everything affects everybody differently. You know what I mean? And DeAndre Ayton's still 22, 23 years old.
It's just the way you describe those alley-oops, coach. It makes me think like, that reminds me of back when I used to smoke before I would play because I thought it made me better and I thought I was completely okay until one of my teammates came up to me and said, "Hey, look," he said, "You didn't smoke today, did you?" And I was like, "No, I didn't." He goes, "Dude, you are night and day different." He goes, "Don't ever smoke again before you play." And I was like, okay. And then like the next game, of course, I smoked and a pass came at me, hit me in the face.
Gobert
style. I was like,
it's Gobert smoking weed. Shit.
And after that game, I changed it, man. I changed up and I cut myself off at least 2 hours before game time. And it's made all the difference. And so I'm just thinking, do you think, I mean, Salt, you're in Phoenix. Does anyone talk about that on the radio? Does he have some sort of like? Okay.
He's never admitted to smoking weed, and he's never been busted for it. And it's not even a thing anymore in the NBA. It doesn't garner suspensions. So, I mean, to this point, unless you see him smoking weed or you hear him say it himself, that's just conjecture at this point. Honestly, I think it's just an energy thing, and I think it's a engagement thing. I think that's one of the things that people were saying and questioning when he came out of University of Arizona. I don't even know what to call them anymore. I want to call them something else, like Trash U or something else, But
sorry, Burner.
Anyway, it's just I think that's just who he is as a person. Sometimes he's going to be engaged, sometimes he's not, and he's just going to go through the motions out on the court. And it's like having that Kobe mentality, the Mamba mentality. Certain players have that and certain players don't. And it's another thing like his hands. You can't just insert the Mamba mentality into DeAndre Ayton. It'd be nice, stick him in a chair like the Matrix and fucking upload that into his brain and just have him, rip rims down. But that's not who he is. Like Booker, for example, has that Mamba mentality. He wants to be great. He wants to be legendary. He hates losing. This
is why I have no problem letting go of Ayton in the offseason for something better that's going to give effort 24/7. I have no problem doing it. Yeah, but the potential. And every time we're talking about an Ayton game that's bad, but he did this. There's always a but with DeAndre Ayton, right? I don't want that, dude. I don't want that with anybody. Like, let's get a player in here that's going to average 10 and 10 and give their all for 25 to 30 minutes per game. We don't get that with DA.
The problem that you have is he was number 1 pick. You sucked for a long time to try to get that pick. You whiffed. You didn't draft Doncic. It looked really bad on your organization to just let him go. They're not going to let him go. More than likely, they're going to overpay him because his agent is going to require that, because he'll point to the good games, say big men take more time to develop. He has all that in his bag, right? But the reality of it is that you're going to overpay DeAndre Ayton, and there's going to be some times where he plays like this, a lot of times. And the fan base is going to get real pissed off if we start struggling and we paid this man a lot of money and he's not performing. Because at this point with his current contract, it's a good amount because he was the first pick, but he's not getting paid max money. That's the problem. When you get paid max money or near max money, you better sure and fuck be a max player. Like Devin Booker got paid the max, and there's not a day I question whether or not he deserves that money, right? Or Chris Paul is getting paid tons of money, but do I ever question whether or not Chris Paul should be getting that money? No, I've never ever said anything, and I never will. But when you have these players get paid, it's just all this shit's magnified because you can't sign other players and you're just kind of stuck. So that's why people are up in arms in this situation, because you don't know what you're going to get day in, day out with DeAndre. And you do with Bridges, right? Bridges struggles in certain games and doesn't score, but I never said that Bridges is doing that because it's it's an energy problem or it's an engagement thing. It's just he has an off night here and there, but he's showing flashes of doing step backs on the court and doing this and that, and he's more consistent. So I would be more comfortable overpaying Bridges to keep him around than I would Ayton. So it's going to be a clusterfuck. I'm telling you, man, when these contracts come up, which I think they can already get paid this offseason, both of these players are going to be needing to get paid at the same time. Plus we have the CP3 contract situation. This could get messy real quick, and you sure in hell can't let these dudes go, like get away. So I feel like the Suns are backed in the corner where they're going to overpay DeAndre, and that's just a bad situation.
JW Lynch said something perfect here. He says, let's bring in an older big man in to teach him, like Shaq or some other big man that can teach him some things. Jay, I want to kiss you on the mouth, okay? I would probably, honest to God, pay my own hard-earned money from my job, my real job. I would pay Shaq out of my own paycheck if he would go work with Ayton.
So
there's nothing that would make me better.
No, people were talking about how good Mark Bryant has done with DeAndre Ayton just last. No,
Fire
just
Mark
shut
Bryant.
up. Shut the fuck up. They were saying how good he was doing just last year. Everybody was saying how good he was doing.
Shaq Daddy.
Come on, man. That's
Daddy or Olajuwon.
I would never, ever, ever have Shaq teach anybody. I would never want that. I would like Olajuwon. I would like Dikembe Mutombo.
Yeah,
Dominique Wilkins.
Shaq's game wasn't like built off of like fundamentals.
No, Shaq's game was built off of back him down and spin.
Which
DA does things way more different.
Wanted to.
DA does things way more different.
Here's your boy. This is beautiful.
There's DA. Shaq never did that. I don't want Shaq teaching him a damn thing.
They need to
No.
get what's his name, the big fundamental in here.
Tim Duncan would
Tim
be
Duncan.
ideal.
Tim Duncan would be great.
Tim Duncan will be good, but people were praising Mark Bryant last year, and now they're not. Chris Paul changes a lot of that.
Amari would be good too.
He's up in Brooklyn though.
The thing is, when I'm thinking about coaches and I'm thinking about post games, I don't think of Mark Bryant. Like, why the fuck is he our coach for
who
post
is
player?
Mark Bryant?
Like, who the fuck is Mark Bryant?
Let me tell you a story. Let me tell you before you explain it, Coach, and ruin the joke. All right. So a few weeks ago, I'm talking to Spurs fan Gary, and I'm like, he goes, man, you guys need somebody to work with Ayton. He's like, you guys need somebody in there like teaching him. And I was like, well, we have Mark West, because I thought it was Mark West. And he goes, oh shit, you guys have Mark West? I don't even know who Mark West is, but I just, I don't even remember.
Well, hit the button on yourself if you don't know who Mark West is and you're on a Suns podcast. Hit the damn button.
The reason why is because I need to
off the damn weed.
And I probably should.
Oh my! You should be banned from talking basketball.
But I didn't know. And so, and later on, I go, oh, hey, man, I didn't mean to say Mark West. I meant to say Mark Bryant. And he goes, who the fuck is Mark Bryant? I don't know. And he's not helping Ayton. He's not helping.
So he did last year, and Ayton's game completely changed this year. Do you think that's all on Mark Bryant? You really think that a big man coach is going to completely transform his game the way he was used this year? No. He was used completely differently this year when Chris Paul came in versus last year. They obviously want something different out of him, or he's not giving them what they need. It's completely different style this year with Chris Paul at the helm than Ricky Rubio. They had to. They also had to depend a lot more on DA than they did DA last year than they do this year. Getting a big man is not going to help the way that they are using him.
I kind of agree with you, and I kind of don't. I think that they need to get the right coach in here if they're going to do more pick and roll with Chris Paul, which obviously is at the focal point of their offense. They need to get a dude in here that can teach them how to pick and roll better.
Salty, I think we'd be better off with that R&B singer Brian McKnight. have Sticks teach him at this point. The goat. Have Sticks be his coach.
Y'all don't know who Mark Bryant is. You get that man. Came off the bench. That man was surgical. And if you don't know who if you don't know who Mark West is or Mark Bryant is in your Phoenix Suns history, do some research. Mark West, starting center.
I know who Mark West is.
I know you do. Starting center for the 92-93 team that went to the championship. All right. Mark Bryant was in the package, and he was traded for Charles Barkley. And he played for us for a while. Come on.
Along with Sam Cassell's alien bald ass.
If you're saying we need
Area
Cassell,
51,
Robert Ory,
Area 51,
Mario
Ellis.
Area 51, alien-looking motherfucker, and then Robert Ory was in that deal as well.
Look at this beautiful Craig turnaround. Who is that? Kobe? I don't have my contacts.
We have the game playing. We're not even talking about it. We might have to start this over, dude. Jeez.
Let's restart. Let's restart from the
beginning.
You
were restarted?
I wasn't paying attention at all, to be honest. I was reminiscing about Mark Bryant glory days.
And Bryant McKnight.
Fuck.
Keep in mind,
the Valley podcast
with all the shit talking that we're saying about Ayton, again, keep this in mind.
Keep that same energy.
He wasn't picked by James Jones.
He didn't score in this game until inside 7 minutes in the second quarter. So this team shouldn't have hung around with us, right?
Yeah, what's up with OKC and skinny dudes just getting it done?
Skinny dudes
who the fuck is the skinny center with dreads that was just shitting on Ayton for rebounds and post moves and shit?
I thought you were talking about Pokashevsky.
No, that big dude right there. Big dude.
I don't know.
He looks like he's wearing short shorts because he's so lanky, but those are probably standard size.
Him and Pokashevsky, big man Craig, get out of his way. They both look like players on 2K where
Yeah.
you make them as skinny as possible so you can be as
Yep.
fast as possible. But like you'd never actually want to be that skinny in the NBA.
Yep.
But
And then
That's
he
him, right,
like
the white
didn't
dude.
he like didn't play at all in the fourth quarter. I didn't see Poku at all in the second half, man. He was giving us the business in the first quarter too. Like they just were throwing out random ass lineups.
what did I tell you guys about Ty Jerome? You guys ready to eat
No.
crow?
I
Eat
mean,
crow?
that's just I saw this
crow?
on
He's
Twitter
putting up
earlier,
stats
bro.
on a bad team, bro.
That's another feather in the hat for drafting him for James Jones, man. That's just another look how good he did.
I'm saying like he was legit. The reason why I fall in love with mediocre players is because I take the time to go back and watch their highlights, their lowlights, and then I watch their high school play. I go back like a nerd and watch everything they've ever played that's been filmed. And I saw Ty Jerome hooping people that he was way undersized against and just he was never scared. And I was excited for him, man. I think we saw that tonight. Like he's got a shot, he's got a handle, he can pass. He's a champion in college for a reason, man. It literally says he liked Ty Jerome.
I don't give two fucks about Ty Jerome, dude.
I really don't either.
I don't blame you. That's
This
fair.
dude is filling up stats on a shit team with this is not a good team. Let's see what he could do on an actual team. And I think this guy's ceiling is legitimately on a good team, a backup point guard. And I'm being brutally honest.
Oh yeah. That's fact.
So I mean, there's no. I think we knew we drafted him potentially to be a point guard of the future, and we figured out quite fast that that's not what he is. So, Campaign is like 10 times better than that dude.
I don't know.
You don't know about what?
I think that if you're being honest, you would have said.
I am being honest.
No. I'm just saying if you're honest about what I'm about to say, like. I don't think that a couple months ago or a month ago, you would have thought that Ty Jerome would even be putting up stats on a shit team. I mean, you guys didn't even think that he could do that. So here he is doing it. And it's
I still don't think it matters. Like, he's never going to be.
Put him on the Lakers. Put him on the Lakers and say, okay, you're starting.
He wouldn't be starting on the Lakers. He wouldn't. He's not. He's not a starting caliber guard, and he's never gonna be. He's just starting on this team because they're trying to tank. Their GM is legitimately non-abashed about tanking. That's why he traded away everybody. That's what
everybody
we
traded for Chris Paul. They traded away, even Jalen LeCue.
Yeah, they didn't want to keep good players because they have all these picks coming up, and they want to build through the draft. So any players that are starting right now and getting and filling up stat sheets, it's kind of like the days where the Suns sucked, except for Booker, and then you get some points and shit like on the team, and you go look back at those players that were actually putting up stats, and you can't even remember who they were half the time.
They sat Horford quite a few weeks ago. SGA is sitting now too. Like I thought Ricky Rubio, SGA, Oubre, Horford, they had Dort. I was like, that might be a solid little team that they got going on.
That could be probably an 8 seed, right? Maybe. If they kept that, but they didn't want that. They want to be.
I'm having a fight with Kiz right now. He's calling DeAndre Ayton a generational talent, and he's like, as a fourth option, we know what he can do. Now he's on Twitter hitting me up. No, Kiz, generational talents are not third and fourth options on their team. You're calling Ayton a generational talent, which I thought he was. He regressed in points. He regressed in rebounds. He's a third or fourth option at best. Generational talents don't do that. Generational talents force their way. They force their way on this whole thing, dude. They go in and they're going to force their way for 15 points. They're going to find a way to get 15 boards in the clutch game. He does that here and there. We were all going hard on DA at the beginning of the season, how terrible he did. Came back, and even Salty was like, dude, he's come back. He's changed his game. Like, I'm all on the DeAndre Ayton train. We all were. And then he's slowing down again. The most consistent thing he's done all season is be inconsistent. The generational talents don't do that. I don't know what more I need to say, and that's the problem. I just want him to give energy, just like we said at the beginning of the season. We just want him to give energy the whole game, and when he does, when he's in the game, there's nobody else in the league that I want on my team.
Coach, do you ever see Luka Doncic play a game where he's just like looks like he's not interested?
No.
I mean, that's the thing. He looks not interested all the time, and then he busts your ass for a step back 3 and 1.
Even if Doncic wasn't interested, he'd still fill up the stat sheet, dude. He's that good.
We're gonna have to restart these highlights. Just kidding. But
this was a weird game, bro. It was a weird game.
It brought up some things. I was watching Cam Johnson. He actually went to the rack.
He looks so good going to the rim.
So what did he have? He had 12 points, and that's a lot because he was 5 for 10. I like that he was engaged because he knows that his 3-point shooting isn't there quite yet right now. Went 2 for 6, and then overall went 5 for 10. He's just getting better and better getting to the hoop. He's a tall player, a lanky player. He's he's a little bit athletic, man. He could throw down on people. So I like Cam taking it to the rack, dude. Frank Kaminsky looked good.
Shout out to Manscaped, our new sponsor. Just kidding. It's an inside joke. It's an inside joke.
Oh, Romp just dropped a video how James Jones rebuilt the Phoenix Suns from worst to the best team in the NBA. Let's go, Romp 2.0.
Should we watch it?
It's
probably not that long.
Do a live reaction of it.
Yeah,
hold on. I'm gonna bring it up to see what's going on, to see what's up with it. I mean, we could just do a whole separate. It's 11 minutes. We could do a whole separate podcast where we do a reactionary thing.
Or we can do it in here and then we can cut it out.
We still got to go over scores.
We got a lot we need to go over that affect the Suns way more than this.
Tell us in the chat. Do you guys want to?
We can do that after that.
All right, yeah. Let us know if you guys want us to watch that Romp. Roy,
shout out Romp, dude. We're gonna watch that. It's gonna be good stuff. So
congrats, Romp.
Romp's a G, man.
Yeah,
for real.
Dude. Congrats on the win tonight.
I like the Sixers too, man. I don't got hate for the Sixers.
No, go ahead. Sorry.
Now, there's certain like East Coast teams I just don't like, right? The Nets I don't like. Who else do I not like on there?
East Coast Knicks, isn't really likes the Knicks.
Yeah, I don't really have a problem with them. They've been sucking so long. Yeah, I don't like the Celtics, man. They have too many championships, and they got Tatum. We could have had Tatum, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So,
no, I completely agree.
Anybody else that are just kind of, I'm not really a big fan of Detroit. Never have been. Who else is in the East Coast? We just really don't really worry about the East Coast because you're not going to worry about them until you're like playing them in the championship potentially. So,
just a quick few thoughts that I had for the rest of the game with some of my notes was, I think Dario looks so much fresher now. Just the energy is there, and he made 2 threes tonight back to back, which was nice. The passing touch seemed to be there. He's not to where I thought he would be, but he's definitely not out there just giving up points and fouling everybody and looking like a complete detriment. So it's nice to see a positive version of Dario Saric out there. And as we already touched on, the Dario Saric Kaminsky lineups are clutch as hell. I love seeing that. We already talked about Cam Johnson. I love how he can drive it to the hole now, and he's doing that floater, which I liked. Javon Carter looked really good for only scoring 6 points tonight. He had a nice take to the basket, plus 13. He was all over the play. I loved what I saw from Javon.
He was good. He was good.
He was really good. It did exactly what we needed him to do, and he had 3 assists. The big thing is playmaking. So even just 3 assists, I'm happy with. Mikal Bridges, his step back threes. Mike Vigil, I don't know how to pronounce his name, came out with a video about, if he could do the different things scoring that he's doing, his step backs, his floaters in the lane, his little pop-up jumpers, he could be a dangerous scorer. I hate to say that we said it first, like what, 2 months ago we said this about Mikal Bridges, but we damn did. We knew this from Mikal, so it's nice that somebody else is hopping on the train with that.
He's done so well improving his game. Like, you got to give props to this dude because his jump shot was so broke when he came into the league, man. His hitch that he had and his inability to be consistent there, like, he's always been able to get to the rack because he has long arms. He's very fast, athletic and stuff. And that's his best attribute, just getting to the cup. But his ability to change his jump shot, which not a lot of players are successful at doing that. I know Ball did that. Ball changed his jump shot, and he's doing really good on
Amari did too. I'd put Amari in that.
Amari developed the jumper, but some players just can't get that bad looking form out. Like Josh Jackson, I still don't think that dude's changed his shot. I don't follow him, but it's just very detrimental for these players to come out and just not have a good looking jump shot. And for him to do that and then to see him developing things like that step back three is just, it really makes you happy and excited for his future because he's very young and he does the thing that not a lot of players want to do is just guard players because it takes a lot of energy to bring that level of defense for that long, not people don't want to do that,
dude. Every game.
Yeah. See,
Every game.
You're expending so much energy guarding the best player on the opposing team. That's difficult. And then you're asked to like bring energy on the other side. That takes a lot of just energy, talent.
Time. One of the things that people forget about with 3-and-D guys, I heard this in a Suns broadcast. I don't know, one of the years we played the Spurs when they had Bruce Bowen. And I'm going to loop in PJ Tucker into this, Kawhi, Ron Artest. Salty, if you think of any defensive wing stoppers, please throw those names in there. But the thing that I heard that stuck with me all that time is, don't discount the 3-and-D guys because they probably spend way more time not only watching film of the opposing player they're going to have, they're going over the notes right before a game. They're doing all this stuff. They're talking to other teammates that have maybe guarded him. They're doing way more than any of the other players. Their time watching film and going over all that stuff cannot be understated at all. Much less that's not even, we're not even talking about getting on the court and guarding the best player of every single team. So what Mikal Bridges has done has been amazing. I still have yet to really see him lock somebody down in a while. And I really want to see that, hoping we can see that in the playoffs. Maybe they're withholding it. I don't know. But his bread and butter, dude, are those threes and his ability to run out and finish in traffic on fast breaks and stuff, right? And now he's adding he added the pump fake game going into the lane with a little floater. And then he's just going to pull up for a jump stop. Now he's adding a step back. Ridiculous. He just needs to add a little handle to his game, man.
How long do you think the Lakers are going to struggle before they get back together and play like the Lakers?
It's what Romp said, dude. None of these teams need the playoffs, so I don't know. They could be the team that just turns it on, bro.
Well, I expect them to.
They're gonna put it together, dude.
You think so? Yeah, let's go. I kind of want to touch on a few of the scores last night too, if you don't mind, because there was some big action last night. Just the Warriors beating the Rockets last night. Most of you guys already know this stuff. The Magic losing to the Grizzlies on that Cole Anthony buzzer beater. That was fun to watch. The Pelicans won, which means they're still kind of in the race. Yeah. Magic beating them. So that just opens the door for the Pelicans continuously. And the thing that scared me was the Pacers beating the Thunder 152-95 last night. And I was like, man, this is a young team. We don't know what to expect from them tomorrow. That scares me a little bit. I knew they were going to.
That's another reason why I'm not as upset about this being such a close game. I knew the Thunder were going to play hair on fire after a loss like that.
Yep. And then the Mavericks winning last night, beating the Wizards last night. The Jazz escaping the Raptors. I was hoping they would lose, but then the bid game last night was the Nuggets over the Clippers to move the Nugs.
Let's talk
to the
about
3
that.
seed.
Let's talk
The
about
three.
that.
Ooh, are you gonna grill Gabe on that?
I have to, dude. I tweeted him on the Twitters, bro. Gabe, can we come to the conclusion that you were wrong about Denver? Come on, man. I mean, you have to admit it. They're the hottest team in the NBA right now, arguably, and that's after they lost Murray. They're beating good teams, and they passed the Clippers in the standings. Like, you cannot take these dudes lightly, and you refuse to give them credit.
Here's what I'll say.
Joker is going to be the MVP. Easy.
Here's what I'll say. I did expect them to fall further than they have because they're not falling.
They're
They're
won
gaining.
9 of 10 since Murray.
I know.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. They're gaining. I didn't expect that. So I will go ahead and say that. And I'll also say that Joker is number 1 in my rankings for the MVP.
Okay.
However, in a 7-game series, I just feel like we can handle them. That's where I'm at.
I don't know. I'm just not there.
Do you think they're going to beat
I
us if we play them?
I can
I
tell
think
you how
it's
to beat them.
All right. So there's two different questions that are going on here. So you'll admit that you were wrong, right?
I'll admit that I
Was wrong.
didn't give
It's
them.
easy. It's easy to do, right? I've taken my L's, right?
If
You
I
take
were
yours.
wrong, but I mean,
So you are wrong, though.
I just feel like there was a misunderstanding as to
Bullshit.
what you thought I was saying. Like,
Chat, please. You guys have been here majority of the time. Some of you guys are new.
I've
If you're
been
new,
saying I'm not
make sure to
worried about
subscribe and hit the bell icon, for future content. fastest growing Suns
True.
podcast. All right.
True.
So if you heard Gabe before, we've asked this question multiple times because it's been a while since Murray got hurt. We can rewind the tape and get the receipts. It wouldn't be that hard to do. He was just basically put the fork in this team. They're
not
done.
that bad.
I'm only worrying about 2 teams or 3 teams. We're going to the final. We're 3-peating. Easy. It wasn't that bad, but he basically put a fork in the Nuggets, and I said, I don't know about that. They still have Joker. They made the trade. I still think that they're going to be there. Nah, I'm not worried about them. Easy. That's an easy out for the Suns. And it's like, nah, man, I don't know about that. You know what I'm saying? Like, it is what it is. I think the proof's in the pudding. They've shown that they have not taken a step back. They played legit teams, and they surpassed the Clippers, bro. They've moved up in the standings, which is ridiculously hard to do in the Western Conference. They're going to be there, man.
I'll admit something about Denver.
So you're going to take your L.
No, just hear me out. I definitely have to admit something about Denver. Okay, they are definitely a threat to steal Salty away as a fan. Okay?
My goodness.
This guy is about 2 minutes away from slinking out of his Suns jersey and into a Joker jersey. He's got ready to go.
I would buy a Joker jersey if I wore those jerseys.
Don't ever do that.
Hey, welcome to the Nuggets podcast.
Don't ever do that. If he retires, do it. If he gets traded to the Suns, I'll buy you one. But
you don't wear opposing player. I mean,
Never.
you're not fans of other teams and stuff. Other players specifically.
If they're like, I would wear a Jordan jersey. I'd wear a Pippen. I'd wear a Rodman. You know what I'm saying?
I had a Kemp jersey. I had a Garnett jersey. I had so many.
I've got a T-Mac jersey from the Magic.
T-Mac jersey, yes.
There's certain jerseys that I would never, ever, like, if I respect the players, which I have, even though I've hated them, I would never wear a Spurs jersey. I would never wear a Lakers one, right? Just for obvious reasons. I would never wear a fucking Golden State jersey because I'm not a fucking idiot or like some
straight bitch.
Looking like some clown that bandwagons teams, or like the New York for baseball. like the
Yankees, yeah.
Yankees. I never would wear that shit. I'd flush it down the toilet if someone gave it to me, right? Or it's just there's certain teams I never would think about it. But like other players on teams that I respect and I'm a big fan of, fuck yeah, dude. Like
Bro.
no question. Joker,
Bro.
I would if I wore basketball jerseys, which I don't, right? Football jerseys I rock with, but I don't wear basketball jerseys. I just don't. And then there's other players, man. I'll list them all.
You would. If you could fill out a basketball jersey like this guy. Listen, I'm such a Suns jersey fan, a holic, only want to wear Suns jerseys. This is the jersey I designed for my rec league. Look at this.
Zaza Pachulia. Yeah.
Tell me that's not amazing.
Like I would wear a Dame jersey if I felt like it. If I wear the jerseys, I like Damian Lillard. He's one of my favorite players. Zion Williamson. I know that ESPN just loves to fucking ride his nutsack, but I like him as a player. Ja Morant. I would fucking wear his jersey. I love him as a player. I wish he was on the Suns. We could have drafted him, but we won't go there. There's certain players that I like, and I've stated that I like them. I just like their game. So it's not necessarily the team, it's the player.
I feel like the fact that they're a current player makes me feel like I'm actively rooting for a current playing. You know what I'm saying?
You're rooting for the player, but not the team, if that makes sense.
How can you root for Ja Morant if not for him to be – if you're rooting for his success?
You root for him to do good.
In the game, but lose the game?
When they're not playing the Suns. Or it doesn't affect the Suns.
So you're angling for me and Coach to buy you a Luka jersey, is what you're saying.
I like Luka. I have to admit that I like him. I like his game. I think that the Suns fucked up not drafting him, and I'll never get off of that stance because there's lots of people that say that I'm fine with DA. And fuck no, you're not fine, dude. This dude is like a generational talent, and the Suns fucking pulled a passing on Michael Jordan and a buoy move, and we just got to come to terms with that. All right, that's what happened.
That hurts, man.
It happened, and it just needs to be admitted. We picked the wrong player because Luka, if he had an actual deep team and didn't have some lanky ass unicorn fake glass man as his second dude on his team, if he actually had a team, if you put him on a talented team, you'd have some issues. So
it's just effort and consistency. I'm getting called out on Twitter again by people that just love DeAndre Ayton, and they're saying, well, yeah, he's not going to be a first or second option with Chris Paul and with Devin Booker. But what does Chris Paul do? Throw lobs. What does Chris Paul do? Set people up. What does Chris Paul do? Get nothing but assists. He wants to actually defer. He doesn't want to be the leading scorer. He wants to defer, and he can't get DeAndre Ayton to 10 plus points every single game. I don't know who can. He's coming up with too many 5 and 7 point outputs and 7 and 9 rebound outputs for a generational talent. Come on.
The fact that
people need to stop.
The fact that people are up their own ass that far to even get those words out of their mouth that they call DA a generational talent just is comical, dude. Like, you cannot stand anymore for a player or just be that blind as a fan. Like, you got to be called a fanboy at that point, man.
What about this, Coach and Salt? Like, he's a generational talent that's not living up to his talent. Who's
generational talent in what fucking way, dude?
Oh, the talent that he possesses is once in a generation. I agree with that statement. The talent, the ability for him to move, for him to dribble, for him to shoot, for him to rebound, block, dunk, run the floor, that I truly believe with Ayton is once in a generation you get a big man like that. But I don't think he's playing up to his talent level.
That's the weirdest thing I've ever heard come out of your mouth. I just can't.
Really?
I can't fuck with any part of that.
Am I wrong, guys? Am I grasping for straws?
He's a generational talent that didn't live up to his talent, so he's not a generational talent.
Like, If you're not living up to your potential, you're not generational talent.
I'm sure Kwame Brown was a fucking generational talent when they saw him on
he
paper.
wasn't.
And stay with me. He got drafted number 1 for some fucking reason. Oliver Candy got drafted number 1 for some reason. On paper, a lot of these dudes look like they could be generational talents. We just had the NFL draft. How many times do you see people play good and look like they're generational talents, even in college, and then they get in the NFL, the NBA, and they just suck? Josh Jackson was a generational talent. Like, come on, man. It doesn't translate like that. Either put it together or you don't. And there's a lot of people that are slept on, like Devin Booker coming out of college. No one thought he was going to be a generational talent because of what he put up in college. He was a bench player, but he blossomed into some shit, you know?
It's crazy saying that about DeAndre Ayton when I thought he even took a leap against who was it? Gobert just the other night when he was taking it to Gobert. But then he doesn't come out and show that again. Like, I don't know, man. I'm stumped, man. I'm stumped. Let's go to tonight's scores.
Yeah, tonight's scores.
Let's see what DA does the next night. Let's see what DA does later.
Go Bucks. They beat those Nets. I hate the Nets, dude. Can't stand them.
As of right now, the Raptors are beating the Lakers by 13. We all know things can change, but Pascal Siakam already has 22. You love to see it. You love to see the Bucks over the Nets, and Giannis with 49 blocking a Kevin Durant pull-up.
That's a generational talent. Giannis.
Generational talents make themselves known. Both are generational talents for what they do. Same size, they just play differently.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. And if you're putting DA in the same conversation as those two, you're on black tar heroin.
Smoking that crack.
Yeah.
What are the standings like if the Lakers lose? We know the Nuggets moved up to the 3rd spot, right? So Spurs lost again. Pelicans are on the move up. Maybe I wouldn't be surprised if they slink into that 10 spot.
I mean,
if the Spurs keep losing
2.5 games, yeah, there's time.
What's the Pelican schedule? I'm really curious here. Pelicans.
Golden State.
Winnable.
Philly.
It depends on who plays and who sits.
They can beat any. I mean, they tend to beat like
Charlotte,
teams.
Memphis, Dallas, Golden State, Los Angeles, who might rest everybody. Every single game is winnable for them. That's scary.
They can move up. They're not playing the team ahead of them, are they?
No.
The San Antonio. So I wouldn't be surprised if the NBA likes to rig shit and get Zion into the playing game. But
they want him in so bad they can taste it.
They're calling the Spurs and like, could you guys mind to just tank? We'll give you guys a good draft pick. Okay, all right.
And then the Mavericks losing to the Kings. Luka got ejected, I guess. I saw on Twitter and somebody said it in the chat earlier. So the Mavericks losing to the Kings is awesome.
7th spot. Hey, I've said this before. The Mavericks love to win, right? And then they love to lose. Like, look at the record over the last 10 games. Look at it. Just they win in surprising fashion, right? They hit a game winner or whatever, and then they lose. They win, they lose, they get blown out, or they'll blow someone out. They're just a weird team, dude. That team right there is so weird. And then on Twitter, someone was asking about if the Suns would worry playing them. That's a team that I could be honest about that I would not worry about if the Suns played them. So.
I definitely want them. I want both Texas teams, man. I want either the Spurs or the Mavericks.
Well, people on Twitter, after me pointing out quite a few really good points, finally said, like, okay, maybe he's not generational.
They should wash their mouth out for saying that, dude. If the Lakers lose tonight, they'd be 36-28, tied with the Trailblazers. Who has the tiebreaker over that situation?
Good question. No idea. I would probably venture to guess the Lakers, but that's just all the 5, 6, 7 seed. They're all cranked right
no,
there.
catch this. Yeah, 5 through 7 would be in a virtual tie for all three of those teams.
Yeah, so
That's
if they lose
nuts.
tonight, we'll know who has the tiebreaker.
That is nuts. So you literally don't know who anybody's going to play legitimately. The Nuggets just move up. They could move down. Legitimately, even the Suns or the Jazz or the Nuggets or the Clippers are so close that, up and down, if you lose a couple, you could switch back and forth. Like, legitimately, all these teams could shuffle, and you just don't know what's going to happen because you have the playing game, which would affect seeding, right? 7, 8, 9, 10. And then you have the games after that. Like, what the hell? We don't know anything about matchups at all. You have the Pelicans move in, take the Spurs place. Who knows who's going to win that matchup? Plus the 7, 8 seed. That determines who the Suns are going to play. That's nuts, man.
There are some big games tomorrow, man. Go to the schedule for tomorrow and check some of these out. There's about 3 good games tomorrow. The Magic and the Pistons. No, I'm just kidding. That's today. There we go. Yeah, the Magic and the Pistons. Everybody watch that one. I do want to touch on the Eastern Conference playoffs in a little bit, and I know that Indiana and Washington are a big game because they're the 9-10 seed right now.
Washington's going to win.
But Golden State, New Orleans, first off, we were just talking about them at the end.
I'll pick New Orleans.
I'll pick New Orleans too. Portland and Atlanta, and we're about to play Atlanta.
Of course, Atlanta.
Atlanta's not going to be on a back.
I got Portland.
I'll get Atlanta on that one.
I'll take Portland on that one. Philly, Chicago, New York at Memphis. I'll take New York on that one. And then San Antonio at Utah. That's a big game for us.
Big.
And then Denver and the Lakers, dude.
That's a huge one too.
Oof.
I'm gonna watch all those games, dude.
So there's actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 games that directly affect us tomorrow, plus the Indiana-Washington game, which is just as big as any of those for the Eastern Conference. So
I thought
that's crazy. Tuesday, not as much, but everything is going to be big. Toronto plays the Clippers, Sacramento, Oklahoma City. No, that doesn't mean anything. Dallas at Miami, that's going to be a big one. Golden State at New Orleans play back-to-back, man. Big games.
Wait to find out who we're matched up with, man.
We're not going to know that.
And I can't wait to find out who the second round matchup will be if we get there. Because
I'm not counting anything.
One game at a time.
I'm not counting chickens before they hatch.
I'm just saying you'll already know because the winner of the 1-8 or the 2-7 plays a certain predestined winner.
So you're talking about the bracket.
Yeah, bracket wise, we're gonna know. Like if we get through round 1, our round 2 matchup will be the winner of these 2 teams. Like we're gonna know 3 opponents pretty soon. Not pretty soon. We got to wait a little while, but it feels close.
Evan was talking about it too. The reason why the Eastern Conference is important is because you better be cheering if you want this thing to work out the way you would like it to, is to avoid the Nets at all costs. They're a matchup nightmare for the Suns. So you're cheering for Milwaukee. You're cheering for the Sixers. You're cheering for anybody to knock off the Nets.
As of right now, the Nets are the 2 seed, and they would play the Celtics at the 7 seed. The 7 seed Celtics would obviously have to play the bracket game, but that could be a matchup nightmare for them, right? For the Nets having to play Kemba, Tatum. I mean that's not going to be easy.
I've predicted this a long time ago. I feel like if the 76ers play the Nets, I feel like they can knock them off. I think the Bucks can knock the Nets off. Who else has the wherewithal? I don't know about anybody else in the East, honestly. Like Celtics are just too up and down. Hawks, no. Heat, no. Knicks are a good story, but I don't think they have what it takes. So I just think it's going to be up to the Sixers and the Bucks to take care of the business. And if they do, and the Suns somehow make their way into the NBA championship, they match up better against the Sixers and the Bucks. So,
yeah.
if you're wanting to draw a path to the championship, that's the way to do it, ideally. But don't put the chicken, don't hatch those chickens quite yet. You got to get through a lot of shit.
I have a question for you. It's kind of off topic, but do you guys now? Dario had a better game, right? No one's saying he didn't, but do you guys still feel like Frank is outplaying Dario to this point?
Yes.
Yes, still yes. But what I think you just left the pod just for a quick minute. We said the Frank and Dario minutes together, I think is huge, and it gives us something that we really haven't had. I guess we did a little bit in the beginning of the season, but not really. It's just it's a different element. And then if you throw Craig out there at the 3, maybe you throw Cam Johnson at the 2, and then a campaign. It's different, and it's nice to have big lineups. And Dario isn't a detriment now. He's not going out there and letting dudes score 20 in 2 minutes. You know what I mean? He's actually helping. He hit 2 threes back to back. His passing is there. Whatever was happening, maybe he just needed maybe it was his ankle, whatever it was, it seems to have cleared up. He's going to be big in the playoffs, but Frank is definitely playing better. But this game, I thought Dario was a smidge better than Kaminsky, a smidge,
Really,
just a smidge. And I think the stats kind of point to that as well too. But tomato, really, like I'll take either of them.
what'd you think, Salt?
Sorry, I was muted. I don't know. I think Frank stood out more to me. From an eye test situation, like the other things he was doing, like movement, energy, just kind of off ball stuff, setting screens. He had a couple nice post moves. His connection with Bridges when he's out there. I do think Dario looks a lot more comfortable out there on the court. I think he was probably injured. That's why that added to his bad play, and him playing at a position was like a double, zinger towards him. So I think I don't know if you wanted to get output from Dario in the playoffs. If the coach, I trust the coach, but hopefully he's seeing, or he knows. Obviously he does. He knows more than all of us. But Dario just plays better in his natural position. So it'd be weird we're getting closer and closer to the playoffs, and all of a sudden I just don't want him ghosting Frank Kaminsky out of the lineup. Like, oh, well, thanks. Crowder's back. So see ya. Get the fuck out of here. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think that would be a bad situation. I think Dario would struggle. It would fuck up the rotations. So hopefully Crowder comes back. You slot Craig back into the second unit. And then you go with the Frank and Dario lineup with
Frank, Dario, Craig, Cam Johnson. Let's go.
That's huge. That's a big second unit.
And I would have campaign there over Javon Carter. Javon Carter could come in and play spot minutes, 3 to 6 minutes in the playoffs, man. I don't even know if we would go 10 dudes in the playoffs. You know what I mean? Maybe with this team you have to, but I mean, yeah, Javon Carter would be the last man out. I thought we were going to say Galloway minutes tonight with Payne being out. I thought we were going to see that.
What was wrong with Payne?
No idea. Did they say ankle or something like that? Or
he had like some sort of contusion. I want to say knee.
Anybody in the chat know?
That's not good. That's not good. But I took that as like they were just resting him. Something happened in practice and they're just resting him,
I think the fact that the coach didn't even think about playing any of the players that are on the bench and stuck with a 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, a 9-man rotation. He's been pretty consistent with that. Man, I still think he goes 10 deep in the playoffs. But you get Payne back in there, spot minutes for Carter.
Depends on who you play, man. I like if you play the Clippers, I don't think you're going to run out Dario and Kaminsky out there. You know what I mean? You play the Nuggets where you got MPJ, Gordon, and Jokic. I think you have to run those guys out there. You play the Jazz. I would prefer to only have one big man starting and one coming off the bench. So that's tough. Like the Blazers, you could have Dario against Enes Kanter, no problem, and be just fine.
I'm putting Craig on MPJ for the record.
Mm-hmm.
You like it, Coach?
And you put Crowder on Aaron Gordon as well too. Or Denver's tough for Mikal Bridges, man, because he doesn't have a small dude or a wing that he can guard. It's bigger players. Denver's going to be tough for them, but we have the personnel to line up against them, in my opinion.
Yeah.
That's how you beat Denver. They don't even have Monte Morris right now. They have PJ Dozier in there. So get up on their guards, make them make plays, stay with your man. Don't fall off of Aaron Gordon and MPJ, and move MPJ and Aaron Gordon off their spots. And DA can do what he does against Jokic, even if Jokic goes off for 35, 10, and 10, you know? That's how you beat Denver. Make their guards make play and stay home on the others.
Look at what I highlighted, Coach.
Well, where? Oh, right there.
DA, 31 minutes, 1 for 3. How?
Is it Monty's game plan to be like, this is what we're going with? We're going to try this. We're not going to get the ball to Ayton. And so then he just came out and was like, well, screw this if I'm not getting the ball. Is that what he did?
Ayton has the least amount of attempts of anyone on the team, and he has the third most minutes. No one on the team who played shot less attempts. How?
He would have had two more.
He's not catching the ball when he gets thrown the ball. Fuck.
Yeah, he would have had two more if he could catch those lobs and didn't look lost. I mean, if I'm Chris Paul and I'm seeing that 2 times in a row, like, bro, I'm done with you.
If you see him how disengaged he is, why would you even try to force anything to him, you know? Plus, he's not calling for the ball or anything. It's like he disappears, so...
Not a generational talent as of right now.
1 for 3, generational talent.
He is... I don't know, man. I thought he turned the corner on that big road trip or coming out of it or whenever he had a kid, but good God. But it's always but with him. Yeah, but he had this. Yeah, but he had that. If your first thing to defend DeAndre Ayton is but, isn't there a problem with somebody you're labeling as a generational talent?
Well, I guarantee you that's the go-to for people on Twitter. He only had 3 shots.
Yeah, why? Because he's not good enough to get the ball or assert himself or catch lobs.
I want to just cut to the chase of why we're pissed off about this, all right? I feel like the real root of the reason why we're upset about this, because we've seen Ayton play well. Hell, I've even seen Ayton play clutch and get the ball in the clutch this year and win games for us. So
yes.
I'm not trying to just shit on Ayton, but the fear, folks, is what happens if this is the Ayton we get for a playoff series?
You're not going to the championship. Sorry.
That's not a generational talent, man.
We all kind of agreed, right? To make things happen, you need to have DA play at that level he was playing at a couple of weeks ago.
Yes. To
be able to have that dream season to get past all these talented teams, these super teams or whatever that are more talented than the Suns. They have to play. They have to have Ayton play at a level that he was playing at. So that's the answer. If he disappears like this, forget about it. You're not. If you have those large expectations, you need to have him play at a high level. So, that's my opinion.
People are confusing me and Salty here. Like we don't hate him. We're hating on his play, man. We're hating on his energy. We're hating on his consistency. So when we see 5 points and 7 rebounds,
support him.
Absolutely, we support him. Like, and he went to U of A. You know how hard that is for me and Salty to do, you know? So if we're showing him love when he deserves it, and we're calling him the hell out when he deserves it because of what Salty just said. We need him. We need him. We might need him more than we need Book. He's our only legit post player, dude. Nobody's going to call Frank Kaminsky a post player. You know what I mean? He's a stretch big. No one's going to call Dario a post player. He's our only post player. Of course we need him. So, but we're going to call you the hell out when you give out efforts like this, bro. Because I know you're watching, and I know you're going to come back with 26 and 15 on Tuesday against the mighty Cleveland Cavaliers.
You think DA is watching?
We know he is, bro.
It's true. It's true.
We know he is.
The whole team.
I mean,
is
that's what
around
Monty said when he texted me last night. So.
Oh shit!
I think it's just we got to bully him into greatness again, dude.
Hashtag bullied to greatness. T-shirt bullied to greatness.
So two games back to back. A quick little 3-game road trip. At Cleveland on Tuesday, at Atlanta on Wednesday. Salty, are you still feeling Atlanta's the trap game? We're going to be an L, or after watching tonight, are you concerned with Cleveland? Cleveland's lost 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in a row, and 9 out of their last 10.
I think that Atlanta's going to be an issue back to back. We beat them last time, right? So.
That's when John Collins went out like at the end of the second quarter and didn't play in the second half too, and they were doing pretty good against us.
So if I'm gonna be honest, I think one of those 2 games they lose, either or. So one or the other.
I don't see us losing to Cleveland, who has the same record as the Thunder in a worse conference. We have so much more talent than they do. But at the same time, man, if you come out with this effort, like we almost blew it against the Thunder. So you never know. But they still have Jared Allen. Kevin Love scored 25 randomly. He's actually going to play. Darius Garland is probably not going to play. Sexton's still going to play. And they have Isaac Okoro, the rookie. So they don't have the talent at all. And I don't see us losing this game. But you're right. That Hawks game, man, that's a scary one. I'm going to look up the stats from the last game as well, too.
I've got a win versus Cleveland, a win versus Atlanta, and then one of the New York or LA games is a L. So I think we go 3-4 in the next 4.
So that was the last game. We played the Hawks. Bogdanovich had 22 points on us. Trae Young was 5 of 16, only went 19. Clint Capella had 16 and 16 against us. Ayton had 13 and 14, so got outshined a little bit. Capella did. John Collins, he only played 15 minutes and went out. But then off the bench, Daniel Gallinari had 13, and Kevin Huerter had 12. So those are guys we need to watch out for on the bench. That last game, Booker had 21, and Dario Saric, guys, had 20 off the bench. The last time we played the Hawks, and Jay Crowder had 19. Again. You never know. Frank could have 24 though, bro. Wouldn't you like to see a random Frank Kaminsky 24 output game? That'd be nice.
I'd love it. That would mean he hit like 3 or 4 threes.
Yeah. No, I'm gonna call a win on Cleveland, and depending on that effort, is going to be going to the next game. If they come out lackluster, barely pull it out, it would be a loss. If they blow them out, look engaged, I think Atlanta's very winnable. But I will go with Salty and say Cleveland win, Atlanta loss.
Oh, so both of you think Atlanta's going to be a loss?
Trap game, dude. This late in the season, back to back.
Well, remember that because I'm on the other side of that, so I can't.
They got shooters and they got players, man. Bogdanovich, Trae Young, John Collins. Then you got Gallinari off the bench. They've got players, man. They can shoot the ball, and you don't want to come up with a 9 for 11 Daniel Gallinari night either.
Well, one more night off here tomorrow.
Do we know when what's his name's coming back for the Jazz? Donovan Mitchell.
No, let me look up some injuries real quick though, because I was curious if anything popped up for the Hawks or the Cavaliers as well. But you're asking about Mitchell. I also wonder about Conley as well too. So Conley, he was just ruled out for Monday's game against the Spurs.
I'm just wondering about their upcoming games, like
Mitchell will be
games, what they look like, because I want that number 1 seed.
Mitchell's going to be out for another week. As of yesterday, he said they will reevaluate in 1 more week. So he's going to be out for this week for sure.
So he'll be out for the Spurs. There's a back-to-back, right? Or
Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday. So
2 Spurs games, a Nuggets game, and they might be back for the Rockets.
Might be back, yeah. So 3 games we're looking like potentially. All of them are home, so those are winnable for Utah, except for Denver, dude. Denver could overtake that 2nd spot now.
Scary.
I mean, this team barely beat the Raptors without Kyle Lowry.
Then they got the Warriors, they got the Trailblazers, they got the Thunder, which is an easy win. The Kings have been playing better lately.
Last game, who knows who's going to sit on either side too, So they should beat Houston, you'd think. Other than Houston, OKC, every other game is losable for the Jazz. But now you got to worry about Denver.
What is that picture on the bottom right? It looks like the chick that got the train ran.
I was going to say that's the chick you want to slurp you.
Are you guys on the Discord?
I was just going to check. I was just going to see what girls they've been posting.
Oh, my goodness. You guys are insufferable. So we're pretty much done with the pod. Do we want to go rock that romp video?
Yeah, please push it to me.
I don't have it on.
I can find it. I'll find it.
Yeah, it's on YouTube. I have it. I have 2 different machines running. Can't wait to get my new webcam.
He bans us for.
Oh, real quick, I'm going over other injuries.
Copyright claim in
Cleveland. Darius Garland is day to day. That if Sexland, you don't want to lose to Sexland. Oh man, we're gonna miss Matthew Dellavedova. Bummer.
All right, you guys let me know how much I should show of it if you guys want me to.
I say just run it. Bogdan Bogdanovic is also day to day. Actually, just play a few minutes because we don't want everybody to watch it here and then not click on it. So let's just do the first 2 to 3 minutes.
All right.
Suns is pretty insane, to be honest. Coming into the year, I knew they would make the playoffs, but I expected them to be in the middle of the pack, like a 5th seed or something like that.
Shout out, Romp.
19-63 in 2018, 2 years ago, and 34 and 39 last season, and now all of a sudden they're the 1st seed in the Western Conference. And not only that, but they have the best record overall in the NBA. Is just insane. Shout out to the whole Suns organization and the fan base. They were in the gutter for multiple years, but now they are a joy to watch night in and night out, playing basketball how it should be played. And today, I will go over how this turnaround was all possible and give some predictions and just give my overall thoughts on the team. But before we get into the video, leave a like. It really helps out a lot. And also, I got to give a shout out to Suns Geek and the Valley Podcast, my good friends. They're great Suns creators.
Hey, let's go.
You got to go subscribe to them.
Let's go, Ron. Did not know we were getting a shout out.
Links in the description below. But without further ado, let's get into it. First off,
just play it for like another minute.
Deserves way more recognition for this turnaround. Now, I feel like Suns fans knows what he's brought to the table and done for the organization, but outside of that community, no one really mentions the moves that he has made. Also, he brought stability and much needed stability because before this reign, they had 9 different head coaches and 4 different GMs. Eventually, in 2017, he was named the interim GM for the Suns, eventually named the real GM in 2019. So getting a trustworthy guy in the front office was huge for them to move in the right direction. Next step was getting a trustworthy guy on the court to coach the team and lead the young guys in the locker room. And that was James Jones's first order of business. He he fired Igor Koskokov. I can't pronounce that last name. I
LMAO.
It doesn't matter.
And
Coco's
hired
gone.
Monty Williams. And let me just say, shout out to Monty Williams, most likely the coach of the year. He deserves a lot of recognition for this transformation as well. You can tell he has brought a winning culture to the Suns, and most importantly, you can tell the players want to play and fight for him. And I'm not gonna lie, I've seen some of his speeches on Twitter that make me want to jump through the screen, tear off my shirt, throw on a Suns jersey, and fight with Monty Williams myself. So overall, these two additions were huge because Monty Williams and James.
All right, man.
It
Shout
goes
out-
on for like
shout out to
another
Ron.
9-10 minutes, by the way. You
Yeah.
guys. I'm going to
Go.
watch it after this.
Definitely. Me too. Go watch it. Leave him a comment. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe. And definitely like that video for him, man. Let's support Suns content creation.
Even though he's a Sixers fan and a diehard Embiid fan.
Yeah, but he's good people, man.
He's from there. I respect people who are from areas and are fans of those teams and just those teams.
He said,
Like,
Charles said, who said it here? Where is it? Roy said, Coach Igor Koskov.
Costco.
Cosgrove.
You want me to show something, Salt?
Yeah.
Okay, you ready?
Yep.
Uh-oh.
I knew it.
Go. Let's go. Turn that shit up.
Oh. Hold on, let me turn it up.
Hey.
Suns are number one. Shh, keep it quiet, don't tell no one. Stevie Nash knows how to run. Amari and Sean know how to gun.
And we got to keep it bench, and now we play defense. Just at Thomas and Bell, now we're the meanest. We have Eddie, Howler, Sir. 3D.
Y'all are wild.
Sir Charles has a lot to say on T.
TNT.
So we can only shoot the three while he's playing golf, reminiscing how it could have been in the Suns uniform, putting up 2010. We lost in the finals in 1993. Redemption is coming, and you know it's gonna be Amari.
Booker's going to be driving around with Kendall listening to this.
No fear. This year's Suns team don't have to reminisce. It's a run and gun style with a hit and no miss. The critics can't run their mouth until playoff time, because we're taking home the ring, and that's the bottom line.
Gabe Face Killer. Dirty old coach.
There's one who will do the job. He can never finish his name stat, and he's knocking off the Nash dish. The Phoenix Suns are number one.
Hey.
Be quiet, don't tell no one. Stevie,
Oh my goodness. How much more of this do I have to endure?
I know how to
I should have never sent that to Salty when I found it.
Play defense. Just at Thomas and Bell, now we're the meanest. We have Eddie, Howler, Sir. 3D, shooting the Brazilian blood. And it's the 0506 Nash coming up to pick Amari, rolling to the hoop and waiting for the alley. You for Sean plays the lane, the Phoenix.
Iverson says the song and beat is more consistent than DA. Props to Coach and Salty.
And the rebound, give the assist to KJ. And the shot to Denny, if we had a shot at the ship, I still have nightmares about the shot packs and hit. We got rid of all our players and we got.
Yo, some of those lines are actually good, just
It's
delivered
not bad.
horribly.
Roy, we want to do it, but Coach is resisting us.
Well, we could never say. I remember the day we traded for Steph Horner. Wasn't long, 2 years later, we were losing, now he's gone. Now we're back atop the top spot in the division. It's all thanks to Jerry C and our new MVP. Yeah.
The Phoenix Suns are number one.
See, that could be about CP3. We just got to change the lyrics a little bit.
Knows how to run. Amari and Sean know how to gun.
And we got to keep it bench, and now we play defense. Just at Thomas and Bell, now we're the meanest. We have Eddie, Howler, Sir. 3D, shooting the Brazilian blur. We have all the credentials for a champion.
All right.
Ugh.
All right. It was good. It was good while it lasted. Thank you for that, Salt. Thank you. What do you guys think? You guys both think we get a win and then a loss. I'm saying it's a win and then a win. Anything else, Coach?
Hold on. I'm throwing some hate and shade on Twitter. It's so fun arguing with DeAndre Ayton stands.
Charles,
Anyways.
no, that's Coach and Salty from back in 2005 or 6.
Mm-hmm. It was awesome.
Yep.
It was awful. No, just we're still in the same position that I was in the other night. It is just win. Just keep winning, especially since the Jazz won last night. Big games tomorrow night. I am scoreboard watching like almost every 15 to 20 minutes now from when the first game starts and ends. I'm almost scoreboard watching everything, trying to throw on an extra game on my phone or while I'm cooking or something like that. It's just crazy, the Eastern and the Western Conference right now. I'm having fun with this now. Are you guys? Are you guys having fun?
Absolutely. It's the best year of basketball
Sure.
I can remember.
Absolutely. I'm going to sleep listening to some basketball podcasts now. Just there's so much content out there. It's going to be a crazy few weeks. We're going to get crazy playing games. We're going to go through an awesome championship run. And then we're going to have a draft. And before you know it, it'll be next season. So enjoy every night, y'all. We are number 1 seed again.
Salty, you got any thoughts to lead us out with?
Just keep winning. Get that number 1 seed.
All right, man. Can't say it better myself. So you guys can follow Coach at Coach Evan B, Salty at Saltiest AZ fan, myself at Gabe Von Carter. You can follow the podcast at Suns Valley Pod. We love you guys, and surprise, surprise, Suns win. Suns win.
Let's get ready to rumble! Barkley 24, yes! Book on the crossover, gets inside and hammers it down. Suns, Booker for the win. Yes! Booker, this is for the win.
The Phoenix Suns are number 1.